Good morning. This is Sheshachalam from Retrograde, Mysore. This is our third class where I would try to explain to you. As you can see that I have a small diagram and I have kept some objects there, and this is easier for you people to understand how the planets become retrograde, because each planet in the solar system will be, revolving around Earth in its same speed, exact speed. The planets don't change their speed. But from the perspective of Earth, how does a planet become retrograde? And how does it go fast? How does it go slow? These things let us understand. The speed of any particular object is relative. Is like, if there is an object behind it, if there is an object behind it, and an object is moving at a particular speed, from your perspective, that is, you are seeing it, and this is, let us say this is Nandi Hills, and a car is moving, and you can see Nandi Hills is there only. It doesn't move along with the car. It doesn't move along with the car. So the car moves faster and Nandi Hills slowly goes back. So that means you are stationary, this is stationary, but this is moving. In the second case, let us take a hill. Let us take a small city here or a town, and let us take your car now. A car. Okay, you are sitting in the car. This is the funny part. That means you are also moving. So when the car moves, you can very well see that city goes back first, but the hill will be moving along with you, and slowly later on you will catch up, and then the hill will also go back. So that means when the car moves, the nearest object to you relatively will move back. The farthest object will move slower, because that is the angle of the deviation between two objects will be different. So, let us come to this diagram now, wherein I will be explaining to you how planets can become retro with respect to Earth. So, my son has done all these beautiful drawings. So, this is Earth. So, very well done, blue and green. So, we have Mercury here, which is very close to Sun, and he has given a beautiful grayish brown tinge for it. And this is Sun, pure orange. So, okay. So, we all know that planets from the northern node, if you see it from above, planets revolve around Sun in an anti-clockwise motion. They move like this. They also rotate on their own axis, and they move like this. Okay? Let us keep Sun a little further so that it will be easy for us to understand. So, now, I know that people have seen these things in YouTube, and fully animated videos, but still I felt that this is much better, because I'll stop and I'll show you the angle of deviation. So as of now, so if I keep it here, if I keep it here, and if I see Mercury is a very fast moving planet. So Mercury moves, Earth is also moving. Mercury is moving faster, Earth is moving. So the angle from Earth and Mercury, keeps changing. This is Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Capricorn, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius. This is Cancer. This is Capricorn. So that means this is Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. So, when Mercury is going faster, and from Earth is also moving. So you can see that it is in the forward motion. So now, once Mercury starts coming between Earth and Sun, so that means when Mercury is like this, between Earth and Sun, we can see that the pointer goes back. That is, the pointer goes back. So Earth is also moving, Mercury is also moving. So it went from Aries to Pisces. It went from Aries to Pisces. So that means the planet becomes retrograde once it crosses this point. That is, once it crosses the 90-degree angle. So in this angle, when Mercury is between this point, it will start moving backwards. You can see that in this arc, you can see that Mercury is like as stationary as it is. Like for example, Mercury is moving in Taurus now. So it is still in Taurus, it is still in Taurus, it is still in Taurus. So it is somewhat like 0. So then it starts moving backwards. It goes to Aries. So you can see this pointer. This is the pointer which actually we are referring to as the screen or the background or the sidereal wheel or the zodiac, whatever you call it. So these are all the Rashis, and in these Rashis there are all these nakshatras which are more important. Rashis are just named, for the ease of the people, so that they can understand, the students can understand it easier. Or else we could have easily kept 360 degrees for reference, and each degree would have had its characteristics. It is having, still each degree has its characteristic, and it would be so difficult for a person to remember all the 360 degrees and its different characteristics, because it keeps changing in seconds and minutes. So that's not required. So what I am trying to tell you here is, so when a planet keeps moving backwards, see, that is, now it is going to Aries, now it went to Pisces, and then it goes back, it becomes a little stationary here, see, it becomes a little stationary here, and then once it crosses this 90-degree arc, it again goes back to Pisces, then to Aries, then to Taurus. So this is not as easy as this, what I am trying to show you, because here I have kept Earth stationary. Earth is not stationary. So it is like this. It keeps moving. So every time it moves, this line refers to some other place. So Sun is in Taurus now, and Mercury is in Gemini. It cannot go, Mercury cannot go to Libra. It cannot happen like this. Why? Because its the orbit is very much within 28 degrees of deviation from Earth. See, this is, let us say, this is the furthermost point, and the second point would be somewhere this side. So 28 degrees. Not more than 28 degrees. Mercury cannot deviate more than 28 degrees. That means it will be either in the same Rashi as that of Sun, either in the same Rashi as that of Sun, or in the same Rashi, or either on this side or that side of Sun. Okay. Let us now understand about the outer planets. So now I have told you how it happens with Mercury, and the same thing with Venus. We have Venus also here. We have Mars here actually. So we have Venus and Mercury here. Venus, Mercury, Venus, Earth and Mars. So let us take it like this. So if anybody asks, where are all they placed? Mars is placed in Leo. Very simple. Take a straight line, draw a straight line, it is in Leo. Venus is placed in this particular degree in Aries, so it points here. So Mercury is placed somewhere between, in the first part of Taurus, and Sun is in Aries. So as on date, it is also in Aries. I think April 14th onwards it will move. So it's already April 14th to May 14th. Okay, so now let us take the outer planet, Mars. We can see Mars has an orbit around, it revolves around 3 planets and 1 that is sun. So our star. So it revolves around all these 4 objects. So the respective angles of deviations are little complex, but anyway, let us go through this now. So this is how Mars goes around us. So when Earth, Sun, Earth and Mars are in this particular, let me take these 2 off, it will be easier. So when they are in this particular sequence, you can see here, this is the pointer, because Earth and Mars, this is the pointer. So we can see that it is moving like this. But we all know that this orbit is bigger than this orbit of Earth. What will happen? Earth is also moving, right? When Earth moves, you feel like as though Mars has come backwards. You can see this pointer. This pointer, when Earth moves, it was here, so it moves backwards now. It moves backwards. See, the pointer is moving backward. And this also keeps moving. It's not that it doesn't move, it also moves. So in many cases, if you take back, go back by some year, 1 or 2 years, you can see that Mars was in Cancer, the sign of Cancer, for a long number of months. Like it was there for I think 3.5, 4 months in one sign. As this is one of the fastest moving planets, it should not be that static. So what has happened is both Mars and Earth have moved like this. So Earth has moved. So now it is in Virgo. So now it is in Virgo. It has started in Virgo. So you can see the line. So Earth is moving. Mars is also moving. Now also it's in Virgo. So Earth is still moving. So Mars is moving. So now also it's in Virgo. The point is that all these months, this is a quarter arc. This is around 4 months. 3 months, quarter arc. So it's 12 months, no, for Earth to make one full revolution around Sun. So this is around 3 months. Mars was in the same place. So you should understand how retrogression happens for outer planets and how retrogression happens for inner planets. And in both the cases, very clear, in both the cases, when a planet is retro, that means it is near to Earth and not away from Earth. That is, it is not on the other side. This particular position, no planet can become retro. Like if it is on the other side, it cannot become retro. It cannot become retro. So there is this particular diagram makes a little bit of sense, because you can understand that Earth also keeps revolving around Sun and Mars also keeps revolving around Sun. There are other planets like you have Saturn, you have Jupiter. All these fellows make the same thing. So you have Jupiter and then you have Saturn. So the same thing happens, because Jupiter takes a lot of time before going into in its orbit. It takes a lot of time, and Earth moves considerably faster. So because it moves like this, so what will happen is it is in Cancer now, so it's moving faster. Jupiter also comes back, but still it is in Cancer. So you can see that line, it's still in Cancer. So it is with respect to the movement of planets, or with respect to the geocentric theory that we are stationary, we are in one place, and this is how it has to be taken care of. So I have explained to you how actually planets become retro by using a very simple prop. I have used my whiteboard, I have used the sidereal wheel here, and then I have used some pebbles for you to describe. So I think this was a clear thing for you. So let us now here itself, let me explain to you how planets actually move faster and how it moves slower. I'll just take one orbit so that it will be easier. And with respect to Earth, let us talk with respect to Earth. So let us say if Earth is somewhere here, the other one, yeah, that one, correct. So if Earth is somewhere here, let us say Earth is here. So we'll place Earth here. So you all know now that if I keep Sun here and if I take Mars, so Mars revolution is like this. So I'll put the orbit of Mars now. So now Earth is in some corner of this ellipse. It is not in the center like Sun. Though the orbit of Mars is also elliptical with regard to Sun, but if I take this orbit of Mars, this is orbit of Earth. But if I remove this Sun out of this place, not required. The point is, let me draw a line. What yesterday what I explained, yesterday what I explained. So let us say this is the orbit of Mars around Earth. The angle represents the movement. So now what is actually happening? Mars is moving in a normal pace. Mars is moving in a normal pace. So it's covering, in this angle, it is covering only 2.5 rashis. And in this angle, it's covering 1, 2, 3 and nearly 4 rashis. So 2.5 plus 2.5 is 5 and the other 7 are on the other side. So that means we feel it is going slow here and it is going fast here. Or reverse. If I take the time, we feel it's going faster here because it's covering the same angle, 90 degrees. It is covering 90 degrees here, it is covering 90 degrees here. So you can see that it will not cover the same distance in the same time. It's not possible. So we feel this much of angle it's going very fast and this much of angle it is going very slow. It's like this. So this particular speed of a planet affects the way it aspects, where it is posited, the status of the planet, that is the avastha of the planet. All these things are of lot of importance, and we will come to that later on when I start teaching you the traditional concepts of science, the traditional concepts of the significations, how they have arrived at those significations, the signification of the planet itself. So we will go ahead one by one slowly. Give me the wipe. Okay. Now I have again the board cleaned up. So I'll be explaining you the concept of Rahu and Ketu, the sensitive points, which are actually the points which are created because of the intersection of the moon's orbit around Earth to the ecliptic, that is the sun's orbit around Earth. So what actually is happening is, we can take ecliptic as either it's sun's orbit around Earth or the Earth's orbit around sun. Both are the same because it's in tandem. So if this is the orbit of sun around Earth, and we take this is the plane, you can understand that this is two-dimensional. You can understand that this is two-dimensional. Now I'm just giving you some lines, making some lines to make it more easy to understand that it is two-dimensional. Okay, so if Earth is here, is only the top upper part. It is like a a sheet of a saucer, something like a saucer, and you have moon coming out, around Earth. So this is only the upper part. The lower, below this again, moon goes down. So this is when moon comes out of this plane. So if I explain it to you using a piece of sheet of paper, new sheet of paper, it will be easier for you people to understand. Like for example, I'll just show this so that you people can nicely understand that how actually this Rahu Ketu is a concept where people should understand this properly before trying to do something about it. Because people talk something but they do not understand actually what Rahu and Ketu are. Now, this is what it is. That means this is what it is. This is the plane of the orbit of Sun around Earth, the ecliptic. This is what this is. And this is the plane of the orbit of Moon around Earth. And Earth is here. This is Earth. This is the orbit of the Moon around Earth. There are two pieces, one goes below and the one is above. So now, this is the orbit of the Moon around Earth, and this is the ecliptic, this is the orbit of the Sun around Earth. So the Moon's orbit is anyway very small because it's around Earth. So it pierces through, it intersects this plane of the orbit of ecliptic, that is the plane of the ecliptic, cuts through the ecliptic, comes above, goes down, and this angle is only 5 degrees, not much, it's only 5 degrees. The angle between this plane, the plane of the orbit of Moon to Earth and the plane of the orbit of Sun to Earth, the angle is only 5 degrees. Only 5 degrees. This particular point is only 5 degrees. So it's both above and below, it's 5 degrees. So this particular arc is above the plane of the ecliptic and this particular arc is below the plane of the ecliptic. Fine. The point of intersection when Moon is piercing and coming above, that particular point is called as the northern node or the ascending node. So this point, when it is coming above, and this point when it is going below, it is called as the southern node, or we call it as the descending node. This is the descending node, this is the ascending node. In all other terminologies, we will simply call this, this below portion. How does it look like? How does it look like? It looks like a garden. That is why it is Ketu. The above portion looks like the other part of it. It looks like the other part of it. And that is how this is Rahu. Rahu and Ketu are represented like this, like this is Rahu and this is Ketu. It's nothing, it's just cut off. It is the orbit of the Moon cut into two parts. We have a mythical story for this. There's a beautiful story. People tell our Puranas as humbug stories. I'll just tell you a story which makes sense of what has happened in our celestial, space. The story might be religiously, pertaining to a particular religion. It might be pertaining to a particular religion, but anyway, I don't follow or believe in any religion. So it's a beautiful story which has been described in the Dashawataras, and in this particular avatara, the Vishnu, comes as a female, holds the pot of the Amrit, which was to be distributed only to the Devas. No? They had a scheme, no? That all what comes out of this Sagar Manthan, when the whole, the Parvat, the Meru Parvat is, the rope was nothing but the Shesha, that is the big snake. And it was tied, and only Devas could not move that Parvat. It was huge. They wanted to churn the whole ocean, and the Parvat would get sunk into the ocean because the floor would always give way. And then the huge tortoise comes down below it and tells that, okay, you can use my shell, as a floor. You can keep the mountain on my shell and start churning it. Then the Devas will try to churn it, and again the mountain will never move. Then they understand that we need some more people to come and do it, but we don't have people now. So then they will somehow go and call the Asuras who were there on the other part, who were actually competitively enemies to the Devas. They will tell them, we are trying to bring out the Amrit, we will share the Amrit with you. They will fall prey, Asuras, or the Rakshas Ganas, who are quite innocent. They might be negative in their attitude, but they are quite innocent. The Buddha people, they don't have that much of brain. So they will go on the other side and they will start, churning. And they get first the poison, the halahal. Nowadays the poison is alcohol. Very nearly the words are same. It doesn't only stop in the throat like Shiva stopped it there. It goes into the stomach and starts spinning you. So better don't drink that because it's poison. So Shiva will be summoned, and all this story, that he drinks it, and suddenly Parvati or somebody else, I don't know who, comes and stops it there, and the whole thing becomes blue, and hence it doesn't get digested, or he doesn't die, and he keeps it forever. The poison stays in his neck, and his neck starts glowing blue, and that's why he is called Nilkanta. Anyway, so the Amrit is there now, and the distribution has to happen. Devas will all line up and sit in one row, and the Asuras also will sit in one row. The Mohini, or the Vishnu, who comes in the form of Mohini, will attract the Asuras and tell them, you sit, I will give you. Asuras will fall prey because they have their senses out of control. So they will fall prey to the beauty of Vishnu. Vishnu, the most beautiful. So he comes and starts serving the Devas. One of the Asuras is a little, quite an intelligent fellow. He thinks that the way these fellows are drinking, I don't think we will even get a single drop. Let me do one thing. I'll go and sit there, change my dress, sit there and take my portion. So he will come and sit in between sun and moon, Surya and Chandra. So this is what is the beauty of our mythology. Surya will be sitting here, Chandra will be sitting here, this fellow will come and sit here. That's what has happened. It's between Surya and Chandra. Anyway, first the Amrit has been given to Surya, and then it comes to this fellow. He drinks it, and just before he gulps it and goes down his neck, Chandra finds out that this fellow is an impostor. He is not from our gang. He is from outside. He is an impostor. He is not a Deva. Suddenly, Vishnu, who is there only, is standing in front of him as a Mohini. We'll take over this Sudarshana Chakra. See the fun. Sudarshana Chakra. What is Sudarshana Chakra? It is nothing but our solar system itself. I'll come to it later on when I talk about the Vedic period and many other things which I'll be telling you. He will let go his chakra and cut this fellow into two pieces. The head rolls down, the body falls apart. But before that, a drop of Amrit has gone to the body also. The body never dies, the head will never decay, and he is going to live. The body is going to walk without the head, and the head is going to live without the body. This fellow becomes two parts. Okay? And we all know after this, there was a swarg given to him by Vishwamitra, right? Or Vasishtha, or whoever, some sage comes and tells that, no, I will make a swarg for him and he will be given as Trishanku or whatever nonsense. So this happens. I don't know whether that story is related to this, but I don't want to relate it. But anyway, this happens that it is cut into two parts. So that is why the Rahu temple and the Ketu temple, if you go, one is head and the other one is the body or the tail. Same thing happens here, right? Rahu and Ketu are cut into two pieces by the plane of the orbit of Sun, the ecliptic, is cutting it. This is the orbit of Moon and it is cutting it into two pieces. So why do we not believe in our mythology? Unnecessarily we tell that it is all a myth and it is humbug, some stupid story. Nothing like that. Everything has a meaning. People don't do stories just like that. It is not a pastime, nighttime story. This has a lot of meaning and lot of depth. And this is how this has to be calculated. Okay, I will just pause the video now and then I will continue with the Vedic time for our... okay, I will do one thing. I will post the Vedic time in the next class. I think you people have understood what is retrogression of planets, how the angle of the planet changes with respect to Earth, and what is Rahu and Ketu. Thank you very much for today's class.